Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I am actually going to need someone to tell me whether you can see me or not. This is me playing with this software from last night and the visualizer, and I'm just showing you the book that's literally in front of the camera as we speak. Right, so I'll put it down just a touch so you know that it is that book. I'm hoping you can see and hear me. You'd probably have to tell me that out there. I'm going to take this off in a couple of seconds and go back to the normal setup. But I just thought I'd show you that I made a little addition to the book, right? And the little addition is my dragon, right? So I thought because someone bought that for me and sent it to me, and I just thought I'd show people that it is actually part. I thought I'd make it part of the book and give you a sort of 3D look at the dragon. I'm not sure how you could make it uh, even more 3D by making it stand out. But there it is. But it does actually look part of it. I thought it was quite funny. That there, there you go. Uh, so if you can tell me in the moderators group whether you can see and hear me, I'll cross over to this other side. See if you can see me. Touch wood, this one is going out, so there's a new one going out. Yeah, I accidentally pressed the wrong button because I was playing with the software. So what I'm going to do now is let's go back to the normal screen, take that off, come off of the visualizer software for a second. What do I need to go back to? Go back to that. And it will show you, stop sharing, going back onto that, go back onto my normal FaceTime camera and come up on the screen hopefully. I don't know how this system is going to handle all these different things because there's a lot of data running through. So did you see that what was on the screen? Good evening, DD and English Warriors. So there's a few things that I'm going to be talking about tonight. Massively talking about tonight. English Constitution Party, hello. I can see and hear you. So did you see my little, again, if you look at that, and I'll just add it up on your screen on this book. So what the intention is, I'm playing with this software and I'm going to start creating not only the book, but also the course, right? And then do the different courses for different levels and then showing everything that needs to come through it. So hopefully people will eventually. We need these courses. I've had someone email me today and said their daughter is doing a law degree, and she came back and started saying we haven't got a constitution, right? And so the lady who emailed me said, I remember you saying online or whatever, and you actually went through it and showed it, and it made so much sense. And it started off with, and I haven't got the books in front of me, unfortunately. I'm sure my assistant could probably find them. What would you like? The English Houseby's Laws of England, both the constitutional one. It's either over there or it's in there somewhere. Anyway, I'm not going to start messing about for the books because I can organise and do that another time. But just a quick one. It's obvious, right, that we've got. If we don't have a constitution, why have people written books about it? If we don't have a constitution, why is it that we have a constitutional monarchy? And with the constitutional monarchy comes two other. It's a bit like saying meat and two veg, right? It's standard. You've got the monarchy, then you've got the judiciary, which is independent, and then you've got both houses of parliament, so the Lords and the Commons. Part of that must be the spiritual element of it, which is why it says numerous different bits and pieces. So let me just see if I can bring this up on your screen. I'm going to put this other book to one side a sec. Then I'm going to show you some other things as well. Hopefully this one will go pear-shaped. My finger keeps clicking. No, that's not the one. Do you know where the Jesus one went? But never mind. No, not that one. That's a criminal law. Yeah, and there's another one of them that's a different colour. Okay. Right. So again, it's getting all of this on the screen so you can see it. I don't know what that one is. Sorry? That's it. Right, well done. You're getting good at this. Let me have a quick look and see if I can show you on the camera as I speak. Right, so again, I'm going to show you part of this, and it should come up on your screen in a different way, right? And I'm hoping you can all hear me. I can go back into the smaller screen and do it picture by picture. I'm working out how to use everything. But there is the Halsbury's Statutes, 4th edition, right? If you go all the way up, it says Volume 10, Constitutional Law. And to give you an indication, again, I can't bring that up too high, but you can see all of this, right? So before I go into that one, which I am going to go into a little bit, right? You've just buzzed that right under the camera. That's fine, as long as you know that if you've got dirty fingernails, you're banging trouble, right? Halsbury's Laws of England, 4th edition. Now these are the other one was the statutes, and this one is the what's known as the common law, right? And again, if I carried on pushing this, I am going to find a different table, and then I'll be able to mount this properly, and everyone will be able to see it. Can everyone see what I'm talking about there? And that's volume number 8, and it says conflicts of laws. That's really important because that's the part that tells you that the United Kingdom is not a country; it is a unitary state. That the country is actually England, and the country is actually Scotland, and the country is actually Northern Ireland. Wales is principality because it's common law jurisdiction and it's part of England, but that can be rectified if that's what they want. But it also says in there, and it states clearly that as far as the law is concerned, Scotland and Northern Ireland are just as foreign to England as Germany and France. But then you've got the constitutional laws, and the Constitution is in there. So just to make sure everyone can see that, you can see my little pointer along there, right? So none of this is nonsense. And again, I can't really show you a higher level element of this without putting that one to one side again and moving the camera. I don't want to move the camera, but I have got to find a way of bringing that camera and then bringing it down so people can see more of it. Maybe I will do that now, which giving this a bit more welly, and then we're going to get into some more information for people. So again, what I don't want to do is put too much of this in there. I'm trying to move away from my getting away and put that in there like that. Not sure if that's a good way of doing it, right? 4th edition. If I was to go that way, Lord Hailsham, Volume 8, Constitutional Law. Like I say, all that information's in there. Now, what I'm going to do is to show you some other bits and pieces while I'm online, because I think it is important, especially when people that are law students are being taught that we don't have a constitution, which is absolute nonsense. So what I'm going to do is go to another page in here. So again, hopefully everyone can see this. If not, you soon will be. Why has that light come off? Right, I'm not sure how bright that's going to be. Right, but hopefully you'll be able to read it. Right, Halsbury's Statutes of England and Wales, Fourth edition, volume 10, 2001 reissue, constitutional law, right? And what we're going to do is show you some of this stuff that it says. This is just so, if you really want to go out and buy this, you haven't got to buy all 53 books, or in some cases hundreds of books. You've only got to find. You're drilling down into a speciality. It's a bit like me saying to you, employment law or trust law, right? If you would be drilling down into one book. I've got a book here, for example, on trusts. It's a big, thick book, about 4 inches thick, with the thinnest pages you've ever seen. Absolutely stacks. But if your concentration is only that, then that's the only thing that you're interested in. But from that, you can see, hopefully, I'm not sure if I can bring that down anymore, but I might try and bring a little bit more information to you by bringing that over. Does everyone see what I'm looking at? There it is, right? So hopefully you can read it and see it. Table of statutes, 11, table of statutory incident, table of cases, constitutional law, and it says historic documents, the Crown, coinage, Department of State and Public Authorities, international relations, devolution, right? So devolution is really important because it was in effect renamed. It was called regionalisation, and it was an EU concept. But what I am going to do is go back to it and tell you as much as I possibly can. Historical 13, right? So what we're going to do is go to page 13, hopefully, and you will see table of statutes, on section 13, coinage, constitutional law. Again, you can see all the information on the outline of the contents, historic documents, part 1, and it will say page 13. So what I'm going to do is go to that. I was doing this last night with Janet, right? And then when we was going through the different parts of the Red Book that I initially showed, it quite simply started referring to other books. So what I'm going to do is show you that again, what I showed Janet last night, and basically it's called reading law. So you would, when it makes references in the footnotes to where it's got the information from, it tells you where it is. And when you go to that information, that's what you should be structuring when you present the case to a judge. So the judge knows where it is that you've got this information from and what he should be taking notice of. And if the lead barrister, including the King's Counsel, hasn't presented that information, and it's crucially top tier information on the Constitution, and he should have been taught it in school and presenting it to the judge, then the judge is going to look at him and then look at you or her and look at you and say, okay, this person is presenting me with the law and must be taken seriously, right? So you got the Statute of Westminster, the first of 1275. Why is that important? Because it's still law. So can you all hear what I'm saying, by the way? The first Statute of Westminster was also what I used in the High Court, because at Chapter 5, it states clearly freedom of elections, and it is a very serious offence. I would say, if we use the old laws of England, if you was to mess with any form of election, right, you can be banished or hanged. It was an extremely serious offence. It wasn't, like they're making out that cheating an election is a big nothing. Now, there was something else really important about the first Statute of Westminster 1275. Does anyone know what it is? And the answer is it was the first statute that put positive law in place that made it a hanging offence to, as they called it, raptus, which I believe was the Latin name for rape, or to ravish, a woman. Their name for rape was Ravish, and it was a hanging offence. So when you look at everything that's going on out there at the moment, and you look and you see everything that's been going on, it's been law in England, and it was created from common law, right? So it was the positive of the common law that says you can't do this to a woman. So they then made it English national law, not just in Kent or Devon or Cumbria or Northumberland or Lancashire or Yorkshire, Norfolk. They said in the whole of England, you will not rape a woman. And if you do, it is a hanging offence. And this first was put into statute in 1275. So anyone out there, you know, I'm talking about certain groups of people who says statute is not law. What they're actually fighting against is what our ancestors put in place to protect against women. Now you've got the Magna Carta of 1297, confirmation of the Charters 1297, statute concerning tallage 1297, prerogativa regis temp insert. These are still law, by the way. Status of children born abroad 1350 to 51. 25 Edward 3 Stat 5. So Liberties, Charters, Statutes confirmed 1405 to 1406, 22. Confirmation of the Charters and Statutes, again. Confirmation of Liberties, 1423. Letter Patent, 1571. Crown Lands Act, 1623. Petition of Right, 1627. Free and voluntary present to His Majesty, 1661. Coronation Oath Act, 1688, still law. All of these are still law. Great Seal Act, 1688. Royal Mines Act. Bill of Rights, 1688. Crown and Parliament Recognition Act, 1689. Royal Mines Act. Act of Settlement, 1700. Treason Act, 1702. Union with Scotland Act, 1706. Union with Scotland Amendment Act, 1707, 54. Page 54. Secession of the Crown, Princess Sophia's President's Act, Wild Creatures Forest Laws Act, and the Wild Creatures and Forest Laws Act, 1971. Island of Rockall Act, 1972. Right, so there are things. So again, it then tells you in the bottom of there what is still law and what isn't. So all I'm going to do now is show you some of this. And I'll cross back over to this side. For some reason, that is seeing this in shadow. Right, so I'm hoping you can see this on the screen. If you can't, let me know. For some reason, it's seeing it in shadow. Right, but can you all see that? Right, so the Magna Carta 1297. Now, what I'm telling people is the Magna Carta, the original of 1215, is still law. It cannot be repealed by Parliament because it's outside of the jurisdiction. That was settled law, and it was noted in Hansard by a number of members of Parliament that said the exact same thing, and that's the part they're not telling you, right? So they can argue as much as they want. It's absolute nonsense that they say it's not law, right? So again, that tells you the Magna Carta, 1914, trustees of the British Museum. But it tells you what parts are in this. Let me hope I can bring this up to you. The Great Charter of Liberties of England and of the Liberties of the Forest, confirmed by King Edward in the 25th year of his reign. Edward, by the grace of God, King of England, Lord of Ireland, and Duke of Guion, to all archbishops, bishops, etc. We have seen the Great Charter of the Lord Henry, sometimes King of England, our father, of the liberties of England in these words. Henry, by the grace of God of England, Lord of Ireland, Duke of Normandy, Guion, and Earl of Anjou, whatever that is, to all archbishops, bishops, abbots, priors, earls, barons, sheriffs, provosts, officers, and to all bailiffs and others of our faithful subjects, which shall see this present charter, greeting, know ye that we unto the honour of Almighty God and for the salvation of the souls of our progenitors and successors, kings of England, to the advancements of Holy Church and amendment of our realm, of our mere and free will, and have given grant to us bishops, abbots, priors, earls, so they meant what they said about everyone, to all of the free men of this our realm. These liberties following to be kept in our kingdom of England forever. Can you all see where it says that at the end? Just to make sure you can see it there. See it there? And it says, to be kept, this is still law, to be kept in our kingdom of England forever. They can't remove, and that's what A.V. Dicey spoke about. Anytime you see something like that, you cannot remove it. Chapter 1, Confirmation of Liberties. First, we have granted to God by this our present charter. Let me make sure I've got that right. Charter. We have granted to God our present charter, have confirmed for us and our heirs forever. So it says it again in chapter 1, that the Church of England shall be free and shall have all her whole rights and liberties inviolable. Right? That means you cannot touch them. We have granted also and given to all the free men of our realm, for us and our heirs forever, says it again, these liberties underwritten, to have and to hold them and their heirs, right? And remember, we start talking about heir rights in the Act of Settlement of 1700, of us and our heirs forever. So just in that one paragraph, and then so you've got the paragraph above, up here, it says forever. See it there? Then you've got chapter 1, Confirmation of Liberties. All right, so everyone needs to understand that. Let's have a count up. 1, inviolable, which means you can't do anything with it. We have also given to the freeman for us forever. That's 2. Liberties unwritten to hold anything forever. So it says 3 times in chapter 1 and once in the preamble, which is really important, right? And again, it carries on and it says all of these things. So chapter 9, liberties of London, etc. The city of London shall have all the old liberties and customs which it have been used to have. Moreover, we will grant that all other cities, boroughs, towns, and the barons of 5 ports, which is the Sikh ports, and all other ports shall have all of their liberties and free customs. So what I'm saying to you is, the city of London wasn't unique, right? It didn't, and currently that's what's happening. Is that it's been given some weird special privileges, right? So we're going back over to this side, and we're going to look at some of these parts, right? Chapter imprisonment contrary to law. Chapter 29. No free man shall be taken or prisoned, or be deceased of his freehold or liberties. Right, so I'm coming across here, or liberties or free customs, or be outlawed or exiled, or any otherwise destroyed, nor will we pass upon him, nor condemn him, but by the lawful judgment of his peers, or by the laws of the land. We will sell to no man, and we will not deny or defer any man either justice or right. All right, so to make sure you all understand that, there is another one there, which is a note, protection of liberty. See the Petition of Rights, 1627, Section 8, post, the Habeas Corpus Acts, right? Outlawry in criminal proceedings was abolished by the Administration of Justice in 1938, right? Outlawry is something that people really do need to understand, because I'm going to get onto that in a minute. But again, all I'm doing is showing you confirmation of the charters, 1297. Yeah, so it's all in here. Chapter 1, confirmation of the charter. Edward, by the grace of God, King of England, Lord of Ireland, and Duke of Guyenne, to all of those that these present letters shall hear or see, greeting. Know ye that we, to the honour of God and the Holy Church, and to the profit of our realm, have granted for us and our heirs that the charters of liberties which were made by common assent of all of the realm in the time of King Henry, our father, shall be kept in every point without breach. Right? This is a powerful statement. This is still law, right? And we will that our justices, sheriffs, mayors, and other ministers, which under us have the laws of our land to guide, shall allow the said charters pleaded before them in judgment in all of their points. That is, to wit, the Great Charter as the common law, right? So I want everyone to understand it says in this book, which is what the law lords use, and what I'm trying to say to you, it is current law. It states it in this book. It is in writing where it says chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 7, etc. That means it is codified, right? So anyone who says to you, you haven't got a written constitution, you pull out this book and said, oh, yes, we do, because I'm an Englishman, right? They say you haven't got a codified constitution. So you say, so what's chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3 mean? What is the English Bill of Rights, article 1 through to 13? What is the Declaration of Rights, 1 through to 27, which was agreed? It is a contract between the Crown and the people, right? So all of this information is in there. So all I'm trying to do with this is show you, and I will be doing this in a lot more detail. And once we start doing this and it goes into a full-scale training exercise of the people, trust me when I say it, right? These people are going to be terrified of you turning up in court, giving them all the right information with the right books and saying, tell me where I'm wrong and where any of this was overwritten when it says it is forever, right? And you can refer to Dicey and another couple of things we can do there. There is something really important that I want to put in here, and I'm going to show it to you in a couple of letters patent. Petition of Right. Remember when it spoke about that? So this is the Petition of Right, 1627. Don't forget what I'm showing you now. It is the Halsbury Statutes of England, right? The petition, it tells you how to draw a petition, how it can be put to either the government, etc. And then what we're going to go through is this, right? So I'm going to show you this as I speak. You should see it right at the top there. What does it say? You might have to switch that on and see if it brightens up a little bit. This isn't strong enough, the light, I don't think. It may be me. Hopefully you can see a bit more there. It's changed slightly. So this is at page 33. Bill of Rights 1688, 1 William, Mary, etc. An act declaring the rights and liberties of the subjects and settling the succession of the crown, right? Really important. When I do the seminars, I'll talk you through this. There are 13 wrongs and 13 rights, and this is when they start to talk about what was happening and what the actual, so the subject's rights, and let me just put that on there so you can see it. And thereupon the said lords and spiritual and temporal and commons, pursuant to the respective letters and elections, being now assembled in full and free representative of this nation, taking into their most serious consideration the best means for attaining the ends aforesaid, do in the first place as their ancestors in like case have usually done. What does that mean? By the way, this is actually in the Bill of Rights. What does that mean? Can you see it? As their ancestors in like case have usually done before. Well, every time we've stood up and gone against tyranny, Magna Carta, for example, 1215, the Magna Carta's right, the Peasants' Revolt, you name every uprising of the English in this country, right? That's why they've mentioned it in the Bill of Rights. They're telling you we have the right to do this. This is the common law. This is England, right? This is not Rome. This is England. For the vindicating and asserting of their ancient rights and liberties declare, right? For the vindicating and asserting their ancient rights and liberties declare, right? So just think about what that says, because it's in the Bill of Rights. It is still law. Is everyone listening to this? Give me a 5 if you can hear me. So then you've got these parts: suspending that the pretended powers of suspending of laws or the execution of laws by regal authority without consent of Parliament is illegal. Late dispensing of that means that the Crown in Parliament, in other words, the government, can't suspend laws. And you certainly can't suspend the Constitution, right? Late dispensing power, that the pretended power of dispensing with laws or the execution of laws by regal authority. So this is basically the king or queen, the monarch themselves, saying, I don't like that law, I'm going to get rid of it. This is if it's already been enacted, right? The king and queen have the absolute right to veto a law. It would then go into an independent judiciary to decide whether the king's right or whether Parliament's right. That's the whole point of having a separation of power, right? Ecclesiastical courts, right? Illegal. It's telling you. There it is in bold there, right? So just to make sure, this is the part I can never understand about Tommy Robinson and his little firm, right? That the commission for erecting the late court of commissioners for ecclesiastical causes and, right, all other commissions and courts of like nature are illegal and pernicious, meaning harmful, right? That's telling you that Sharia and Jewish law courts, any other form of law in England other than English law, the Bill of Rights, etc., is unlawful. It's telling you, and the reason why they put it in there was to stop any form of religious, not just Christian, but any form of religious fanaticism, right? That's why that's in there. Levying money for the use of the crown by pretense of prerogative without grant of Parliament for longer time or in other manner than the same is or shall be granted is illegal. Right to petition, that is the right of the subjects to petition the king, and all commitments and prosecutions for such petition is illegal. Everyone should understand that they arrested me for that outside Buckingham Palace, and woe betide them when they got into court. I'm actually drinking my hot chocolate. Standing army, that the raising or keeping of a standing army within the kingdom in time of peace, unless it be with consent of Parliament, is against the law. Subjects' arms, that the subjects which are Protestants may have arms for their defence, suitable to their condition and as allowed by law. What does as allowed by law mean? Well, if you go back to the Declaration and the Declaration of Reasons, it explains it. So the Declaration of Rights, there is a whole discussion in the Convention Parliament of what that actually meant. And what they said was, it's a pre-existing right. We are asserting the right of the English to bear arms for self-defence and the defence of their property and their family, right, and the defence of the realm. That was already accepted as law, and that's why they say as allowed by law. There was a discussion about poaching because the lords didn't want to put it into positive law that peasants could be armed. And they said they already know, there's already a law, it's called a poaching law, that they can't come onto your land and shoot your deer, right? And it was all about you having a weapon to defend yourself. So the right to petition, standing army, subjects' arms, freedom of election. This is the one that we used. So make sure I bring that up here. Freedom of election. That one there. The election of members of Parliament ought to be free. Freedom of speech, that the freedom of speech and debates or proceedings in Parliament. Right. So this is where there's contention, but there shouldn't be because there's other things that cover it. Freedom of speech, that the freedom of speech and debates, right, or proceedings in Parliament ought not to be impeached or questioned in any court or place out of Parliament, right? That's why you can't have whips. They're actually unconstitutional. Excessive bail. That excessive bail ought not to be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel or unusual punishments inflicted, which is why the police can get done to torture, right? Because the English outlawed torture in 1641. Juries. That juries ought to be duly impanelled and returned. ... Right? There's more to that, but basically they're never allowed to take juries off you. Grants of forfeitures, that all grants and promises of fines and forfeitures of a particular person before conviction are illegal and void. That is, and that was brought up in Parliament, which is why speed cameras were addressed, and they said this is illegal, right? Frequent parliaments, and that for redress of all grievances and for the amending, strengthening, and preserving the laws of Parliament ought to be held frequently. Frequently for this meant every year. Then they made it to every 3 years, but they actually wanted parliaments every year. And again, you're talking about a long parliament, which means it stayed there. The said right claim, tender of the crown, regal power exercise, limitation of the crown, new oaths of allegiance. But all of these things also put limitations on Parliament, and there is also limitations on judges. No one can actually go against the English Bill of Rights or the Constitution. So there's lots of other parts of this, but I want to... sorry if that went right for you. There's so much more of this that you can go through, but I don't think... Right, so there's parts of this that they removed and they wasn't allowed to remove them. So what I want to do is take you into this part, which is the Acts of Settlement, right? Now I'm going to do this, each part of it in a segment, and go through it so everyone understands it. And I'll bring out the law books and then show you what is said and what isn't. Polls are now closed, so we're hoping that Rupert Lowe is doing well, and I'm going to get onto a few other bits and pieces in a minute, but I just want everyone to understand what's going on here. I am actually going to take you to section 4 of this, but there's plenty of other bits you want to see. So let me just make sure you can see part 3 on there. Further provisions for securing religions, laws, and liberties of these realms. Realms, right? So it was plural, right? Because the other realm, believe it or not, was Scotland. And whereas it is requisite and necessary that some further provision may be made for securing our religion, laws, and liberties from and after the death of His Majesty Princess Anne of Denmark, and in default of issue of the body, and then it goes into more and more detail. But just to make sure everyone's got this, I'm going to bring you the bottom part, which is this one here. Chapter 4, the laws and statutes of the realm confirmed, and whereas the laws of England are the birthright of the people thereof, and all the kings and queens who shall ascend the throne of this realm ought to administer the government of the same according to the said laws, and all their officers and ministers ought to serve them respectively and according to the same, right? So again, just making sure you get this, because I'm going to bring up the rest of it. There's so much more of this. The said Lords spiritual, temporal, commons, and do therefore further humbly pray that all the laws and statutes of this realm for securing the established region and the rights and liberties of the people thereof, and all other laws and statutes of the same, now in force may be ratified and confirmed, and the same are by His Majesty's with the advice and consent of the said Lords spiritual and temporal and commons by authority of the same ratified and confirmed accordingly, right? And then if you go back there again, I just want to make sure you understand what I just said, right? And whereas the laws of England are the birthright of the people thereof, right? Is that not a statement that you understand? Again, what is it? Halsbury Statutes, 4th edition. Constitutional law. What we've got there, and again, I just want to make sure you do get this. Here's the other one. Halsbury's Laws of England, 4th edition, volume 8. And again, it says constitutional law. You're probably not seeing that because now we're getting a bit of image from the top one, but don't worry about that. I am going to show you exactly where it says, and I can show you a lot more detail of this. So this is introduction, what is meant by conflict of laws. So the nature of the subject, the branch of the English law known as the conflict of laws or private international law in contradiction to the ordinary law or domestic law, right? So again, what we're saying here, or because the property is situated in foreign country, right? So what I'm going to do, in conflict of laws, foreign element and foreign country mean a non-English element and a country other than England. From the point of view of the conflict of laws, Scotland or Northern Ireland is, for the most purposes, as much a foreign country as France or Germany. Does everyone understand what I just said? Because that's what it tells you in the law book. And then it goes in and it talks to you about public and private international law. But at the bottom here, paragraph 403, it says meaning of country. Right, so I'm reading you the law from the book, right? A state in the sense of public international law may or may not coincide with a country in the sense of the conflict of laws. Unitary states like France, Italy, New Zealand are countries in this sense because the law is the same throughout the state. On the other hand, England, Scotland and Northern Ireland, right, just to make sure you understand this, each of the Australian and American states and each Canadian province is a country in the sense of conflict of laws. So it's telling you that the American states, right, in technical terms, is a country in its own right. And it's also telling you that England and Scotland is as well in a country in its sense of conflict of laws, because each has a separate legal system, although none of them is a state known to public international law. However, for some purposes, larger units than these may constitute countries. Thus, the United Kingdom is one country for purposes of the law of bills of exchange, right? Just for that. Great Britain is one country for most purposes of law of companies, so of corporations, and of adoption of children. But Australia is one country for purposes of the law of matrimonial causes. So it tells you when it's considered to be one country, but it's a unitary state, right? One country for purposes of divorce. On the other hand, Wales is not a country because its system of law is the same as that of England, right? And therefore, as a principality is within England, so England, Wales is classed as a country. Scotland is classed as a country, but Great Britain, to the people that reside within it, yeah, Great Britain is an island and a unitary state. It is only known to be a country for commerce in certain situations and corporations in certain situations outside of the jurisdiction of Great Britain, right? So in other words, America would be looking at Great Britain if it was having a deal with us, but it's got nothing to do with our domestic law, nothing whatsoever, right? So see the Bills of Exchange Act 1882, see the Bills of Exchange for the meaning of United Kingdom, see paragraph 404 post, right? So again, geographic, I hope you can see this, geographic definitions throughout this title. England includes the Principality of Wales and the town of Berwick-on-Tweed. Great Britain means England, including Wales and Scotland. The United Kingdom means Great Britain, Northern Ireland, and the British Isles, means the United Kingdom, the Channel Islands, and the Isle of Man, right? And then it goes in and gives you more detail, jurisdiction and choice of law, right? So you have a choice of law. Which system law, English or foreign, should it apply? There are sometimes third questions to general principles, and it goes into, in general, the English court has jurisdiction in actions of in personam against any person who is present in England, a writ of summons or other originating process, right? So it goes all through the details and it tells you everything that you need to know, right? But all of this stuff is going to be made available to you. So what I'm going to do now is tell you something else, right? So as we went through this, and I can't remember what part it was that we spoke about last night, but I was talking to Janet about it, and then we started going through certain elements. And what this book did, I can't remember which one I was talking about. I think it was Ashby versus White, right? So the reason why it's important for tonight's case, let me see if I can find Ashby versus White again anyhow. And then we'll get to it. 2 seconds. Statutes and documents. Let me have a look. Skinner's the case. Thomas Sorrell. Everything is in here. By the way, I should show you now the original Bill of Rights is in this book, right? Because cases of Bristol riots, Stock that now, Bushell case, Ashby versus White, 1704, 268. Right, so I'm going to show you this because it's important. Right, 268, and this is something to do with what we're talking about now. Right, so this is Ashby versus White. Right. And it tells you 1704. Why does it say 1704 and not 1703? Because Ashby versus White and others, right? The Ashby versus White was in 1703 and it was finished, ended, sorted out. And then some other people brought their own cases because the same thing was done to them, right? So it's a bit like me bringing a case and the court's finding my favour or the law lords, and then a few other people step in and say, hang on a minute, that happened to me, right? So the importance of this historic case, with which is also concerned the case of Aylesbury men, justifies the length of the extracts, right? So not all of the extracts are in here, but as you can see, right, it goes on for pages and pages and pages and pages and pages. The whole lot, if I went through this now, I think the PDF of Lord Chief Justice John Holt was something like 200 pages in total, right? So the reason I'm telling you that is because it's really important. But what it does, it starts to talk about here, and it goes into detail, and it says, it talks about, it then gives you references to books. Can you remember where I actually got the references from that book? Lord John, I'm going to find this for you. There was a whole chunk of it where it gives me references, but the references, again, it's still going. It's got all of the Queen's answer, everything that's in here. And what they didn't like was me bringing this stuff up in court, right? And it's still going. It goes on for lots and lots of information. Let me just show you something else. There's a couple of things I want to show you in that. Before I do, it tells you in this book that you need to go and look at. So where did they get their information from, and where did Dicey get his information from? Because it was all in that book, and then it tells you to go and have a look at this book, right? So just to make sure everyone's aware of this. This is an original as well. The Constitutional History of England. This one's volume 3. I've got the 3 volumes on there, just to make sure you understand who it is. The Constitutional History of England, from the accession of Henry VII to the death of George II, by Henry Hallam, right? Foreign Associate of the Institute of France, blah, 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 blah. He was well renowned as an expert in law. John Murray, Albemarle Street, 1854. This one was published. And then as you go through it, it tells you in here, right, what pages to go to. And the funny thing was, as the other books tell you to go to certain pages, that's what that did. When you brought up this, it starts to talk about the Aylesbury's case at this one. So it says Constitutional History of England. All of these petitions, it tells you the history, and then it says, to the power so arbitrary and so evidently abused in the immediate instance. It carries on and it tells you all about what happened and where they got their information from, and it tells you more about asserting your rights, etc. Right? So none of what I tell you. So when they start talking about people like A.V. Dicey, I'm actually reading from the books that A.V. Dicey used to write his book on the Constitution, right? And there's another one I'm going to try and show you if I can find it, which is that one there. Right. So again, if I was to show you that one, again, a lot of these books refer to this, the History Analysis of the Common Law of England, and that is a guy called Sir Matthew Howe, right? Why is it important? Because, yeah, again, this guy tells you literally, goes through every element. This one's a copy, but it tells you the Common Law of England, and it gives you everything that you need to know and how every law in the country was attributed to normal everyday people like me and you. And then there's a million other things that we can do. Now, what I'm going to do now is come off of that screen, go back to my normal picture. How was that? Right. Oh, I forgot to tell you I was going to show you that. And I want to. Let me see if I can show you this. Because I just want to see how this comes out. I'll tell you what we'll do. We're going to show you this on the screen. See if I can pin it down. I'm going to show you this. Just to make sure everyone gets. Do you remember I showed you that coin? Right, so now what I'm doing is seeing if I can get any further down to this. This is this coin. This should be as high definition as possible. And let me see if I can pull that up. Can you see that? That's that silver coin that someone sent me. A number of people have sent them to me. It's absolutely gorgeous. But there it is in high definition, right? And then what I'm going to do is show you the back and what it says. A man of faith, a warrior of Christ. Just to make sure everyone sees that. That is absolutely superb. Definitely one of the most stunning things that I've seen. I wonder where, I think that might be. Right, now I'm going to pull it back off again and put it on here. Don't forget I'm still playing with a bit of kit. What did you think of that? Did you all see that? It is absolutely gorgeous. Now what I'm trying to do is get that made. So there's 2 anchors either side. That'll be on one, and there's another one on the other side, which basically says "Hang the bankers." Not hang the wankers, hang the bankers. Right, everyone happy with what they're seeing so far? Yeah, no, it's absolutely gorgeous. So I am going to be playing with this, and I am going to be making sure that we can start going through this, and I'm going to get stuck straight into it. It is really important what's going on in Norfolk. I'm seeing some things going on that I do want to show people. Apart from, I've showed that up on the screen. Did everyone see? I had a little play with something earlier, so I'm going to take it off and put it on the screen, see if it comes up. Did you see that? Now, I took that image earlier on, which is select statutes, cases, and documents to illustrate the English constitutional history. That one's from 1904, I think. And defend Britain's Christian heritage, right? So this is all tight, and it's restore Britain. Restoring the English constitution is crucially important, right? Because, and again, I'm going to go in. This sounds technical, but it's not. I know you're going to be interested in this, and then I'm going to cover a few little things off to do with the election today. Some of the things I'm seeing in the background with some people panicking. I'm seeing some messaging coming out from the Pied Pipers. Let's put it that way, right? Which I'm not happy with. They're saying that Paul Thorpe is now bringing together everyone in Restore in advance and Britain First, Tommy Robinson and all that. I'm like, and it was punted out by who's the guy on YouTube that was in GB News. That's parents come from Essex, that moved out to New Zealand. What's his name? He's a New Zealander. The gay geezer. He's the one punting this out, right? Listen, biggest mistake Restore will ever make is get involved with any of them people. Just like Farage, they was all put in place to draw people away. Paul Thorpe is a banger. Let me have a quick look. Yeah, excellent English flag. No way, Restore will do that. Well, that's it. Dan Wharton, complete and utter lemon geezer, right? He's been promoted on YouTube. People have got to be really careful. But one of the things that I do want to talk about is something that our old laws state, which is basically banishment. Right now, last night I went through some of this stuff, and it comes back to reading law, and it tells you where certain elements are. You go and pick it up, you show, and then you can show it all exactly where it's come from. Anyone can be banished from England, right? What does banishment mean? So, do you want me to try and tell you? There was a special term for it, and I've forgotten the legal term, but basically, this is if you commit an offence of rape, which is felony in England and has been since, and a hanging offence since 1275. Let's say you commit an offence of rape. It doesn't matter who you are, right? Whether you be a Pakistani, whether you be Scottish, Irish, Welsh, English, or any other mix in between, right? The place that you went to try and get out of it, if you didn't want to be hanged, before you'd still be tried, was a church that gave you sanctuary for so many days, and no one was allowed to enter the church. There's a special name for it. It's in the books. I'd have to try and pronounce it as well, right? But my point to you is, you had to swear an oath to the coroner and the coroner's court that you would leave England within 30 days, and then you would not be hanged, because they didn't want to keep killing people. They just wanted you gone, right? That's how we built up a high trust society. There's a good bit coming up here because I want to explain some things that people will understand about this, right? If you then betrayed that oath and did not leave England, you become an outlaw. You no longer had the protection of the law. The community could then say to anyone in the community, we'll give you 10,000 guineas, dead or alive, for that person, right? That's where America got bounty hunters. right? Because the same system was exported to America, right? Because you was known as an outlaw. So I'm going to give you an example of a well-known outlaw, other than Jesse James in America, right? I love Jesse James. You got to have a bit of Jesse James, right? There's nothing wrong with robbing banks, right? So the main person in this country, in England, I'll ask the audience, who do you think is the most well known outlaw, an older outlaw? I'll give you a clue. He came from Nottingham. That's the biggest clue I can give you. In all the films, he looked like the Jolly Green Giant. Let's have a look and see who they come up. Dick Turpin, no. Dick Turpin was all right, though. He's another fellow I quite liked. Robin Hood. There you go. I had to give you the clue of Nottingham, didn't I? So it was Robin Hood and the Outlaws. So what happens is so there was two people. So the sheriff was a tyrannous sheriff, and they was really like us. They was fighting back against the system, against the tyranny, and then they went into the woods, and because the system had said you've committed these crimes, even though it was all corrupt, they had to get away from that, but they were still fighting back and protecting people. That's why the villagers loved them, blah, blah, blah. There's a whole history, a real bit of history about this, by the way, because that was quite common for people to live in the woods and live as outlaws. Because as you was an outlaw, you didn't have the protection. So the system and the people would put a price on his head. And I can't remember what king it was, but the king was aligned with the sheriff. Right, this can all go into what's something called quo warranto, right, which I also brought up in the course. I didn't tell this history about Robin Hood, but there's a whole system of corruption of these people, because the person who puts the sheriff in place is the king, right? So the king was tyrannous and corrupt, and I think it was Richard III or Richard II, I can't remember which Richard it was, come back, and then they was honourable to their king. Someone else would probably tell me the other part of the story. I'd have to reread it to get the dates and who it was and what it was. But he pardoned Robin Hood and the Merry Men, right? The outlaws. But that gives you an indication of what happens. So the outlawry system was only abolished in this country, I'm sure I just told you, was in 1930s, right? What else did they abolish in England in the 1930s? Grand juries. There was a lot of attacks on our system, and this is all to do with the Fabian Society. This is all to do with them trying to put upon us an administrative law on Roman law system, right? And the English have always pushed back and said, we ain't having it, right? But the crucial point of what I'm trying to say to you is the banishing of people from England it had to be a heinous offence, but it was common. It was standard. You get banished from it, right? But that's how we built a high trust society. People knew what the punishment was. You're gone, right? And of course, it could go the other way, that you could be tried. So there's three options. You either left, you become an outlaw, where you could be hunted, and if the community have put money together, so it might be a rapist, and enough people there say, can we have a collection? And then there's a guy there says, I'll go and hunt him down for 2 guineas, right? And kill him and bring him back and show you that he's dead, and you give me the 2 guineas, right? And that's how the bounty hunter went out there. So bounty hunters were also known as privateers. So you had them on land, almost like mercenaries, and they're the same group of people. Does everyone understand what I just said? And do you understand how it correlates? If you started to take back all these laws, you could soon go, right, we're not having it. we're going back to English law. These people are all gone. And all of these people, anyone who is against us and doing these things in the background. And again, I've just read you what it says in the Magna Carta, that all of the other cities, boroughs and ports should have the same rights as the City of London. Well, that's not what's happening, right? They went around the country and systematically, I'll give you a good example, Yorkshire Bank, right, which was it was a building society, or what we used to call like a credit union, and they was run properly, yeah. And then all of the banking system become massively regulated in such a way by the Bank of England that they amalgamated all the power back to the City of London. That should never have happened. In a similar way as what they've done in America with the Federal Reserve. And then if you start talking about all the rest of it, there's so much of this. Listen, to try and talk about all this history in just one show, I'm not going to do it, but I just find it so interesting. I find it interesting that every solution we've ever looked for is right there in our own law books, right? England is 1100 years old. And again, I'm not having a pop at the Scots. So there you go. Tommy Robson is an arsehole. I agree. Let me have a quick look and see anyone else. I see another one of our members up today. I've got to show you this because I think it's fantastic. I don't want to make sure that no one can see the other image of it. Let's see if I can see it. He's got everything. He's got the MAGA cat on. He's got the MAGA hat on. There he is. Right, let me see if I can show you this image. Let's see if I can bring it up and show you. But what I don't want to do is what have I got two pictures on my screen? All right, there is one. Right, and again, as you go up like that, what's the mile marker, Martin? We're voting. Restore Britain. Yes. Oh, so it's getting there, right? 1,000 payoff to join the banking system, 1970-ish. Sorry, Richard Green, I don't know what that is. Let me have a quick look. I did a bit of that myself, Q. Let me have a look at that. The truth, the whole truth. We're trying to do as much. Saxon cocktail, Yorkshire Penny Bank. So I was going to talk about that. The Yorkshire Penny Bank. So if you go to Hull and you go to Victoria Square, and by the way, Hull, there's like statues to Prince of Orange, right? But Queen Victoria Square, if you stand there and look the other way, right, just across the square, you will see the penny bank. All of that was destroyed. All of that's been destroyed by our banking system, right? We was resilient a lot of ways. Let me think of another thing with Hull that was fantastic. Let me think. Hull had its own telecommunication system, far more superior than the City of London. As that, right? And I'm telling you as a telecom professional, right? At the time, and I'm talking going back 25, 30 years ago, and it was owned by the people. The council had put it in. They had used council tax money to build this telecommunication system up. Everyone had a telephone system in Hull, all connected to each other, and weren't being charged for it, basically, right? Because it was all part of your council tax. Imagine that, right? And then they privatised it. What a liberty! Stole it off the people. There's someone out there. I used to know a bit more about that one. It's a long time ago, and it's from literally drawing that back in from my memory, right? But I really want to talk to someone about that because I think that is one of the where you can really show people how we've been shafted as people. Who's that? You beat me to it. Boxes were like tan. White phone boxes in Hull. Oh, there you go. So they had it because it wasn't. The red phone boxes weren't part of the post office and weren't part of what then become British Telecom. Then they had the green, sickly, horrible things. And then you had another group. So again, the City of London Telecom, which was called Colt Communications, City of London Telecommunications. Bearing in mind the money in the money in the city was nowhere near as advanced as what of Hull's telecommunication system. I loved it, right? I thought this is Parker, right? Because it also they basically pushed out the corporations, and so you didn't get massive bills and all that. We still have cream telephone boxes. It's lovely there in Hull. Asked for voting overseas ID tonight, gobsmacked. I told them about Runcorn. Who's this one? Fred Carmine. Asked for voting overseas ID tonight. Yeah. You want to. So again, there's things that Restore Britain really need to. You've got to be organised in many ways, and one of them is to keep an eye on this fraud and be prepared to go straight into an election call. You've got to have people that are there that will pull them up at their count, because these people are crooks. Was the dog's bollocks? Grasshopper. Was it the dog's bollocks? Yeah, it was the dog's bollocks. Andrew 93, yeah, Hull and East Yorkshire. Yeah. What's this one here? Kent. Let me have a look at that. There's other stuff in there. Free energy machine. Is that a thing? I can make you some free energy. Follow the money. Who owns the banking system? Restore in many ways seem a bit naive. I've got to be honest with you. There's not many people. If I said everything you've been told is a lie, I guarantee people, even Rupert Lowe, would go no. But we would say, listen, everything you've ever been told is a lie. Right? This is how the system works. Now, I'm trying to work out what else I'm doing now. Oh yeah, I know what I'm doing now. I'm going to try and show you something. Don't forget, if you like watching this and like what we're doing, hit the like button, crucially important. Also, subscribe, and especially on Rumble. If you're watching this on YouTube, jump over right onto Rumble, because I'm telling you now, this is the only place that ain't took me down. One guy is running an independent about the voting fraud, sleight of hand. Again, you got to do that with everyone. Copper and water source flowing, and I can generate a small amount of power, enough for a small place. That was my starting point. Liam Powell posted 2 years ago that he voted for reform. Well, there you go. Yeah, totally agreed, DD. Right, so let me just go and see if I can bring something else up for you, because there's quite a bit going on. Not sure how many notifications I've got here at the moment, but there is a million things going on. Not sure if I've got anything on there. I need to take that back down again. Take that one off. Anyone in there? Ray Edmonds, yeah. First one, Graham Moore. Graham, the stream ended. Hear and see you. Oh, good. So if I understand correctly, USA can place tariffs on GB, but cannot penalise individual English purchases. For international commerce purposes, it will class the GB and everyone in it as one country, because it is the Crown that is and the government that is negotiating on behalf of Great Britain. But they would see England as a country, and they would recognise the English, right? Just to let you know. I mean, DD, there is talk about water-powered car engines that may be the future. Taffy Pat. They've already got them. They're called hydrogen engines. JCB was already built. I've shown the videos. They've already built the engines. I think we're already in front in a big way. Mr. Lomas, no, he hasn't. He's lifted the tariffs on Scottish whisky, as far as I know, not on whiskey, not on English whisky. In fact, they won't even talk about English whisky. And bearing in mind, we won the award for the best single malt whisky in the world, and there it is. There, it's called the English. That is stone cold. Cool. It's always been a Rothschild. I need to go and try and find you this. Right. Let me see if I can find you this. Rupert Lowe, you have till 28th to vote. Not sure where that come from. I'm going to see if I can show you some of this stuff. Real Robert. I don't know what that one is. Lucy and Lucy. There is something that I wanted to show you. Look at all these people. It's got to be Operation Beachhead. It's called, right? This is Great Yarmouth. You got to see this. This is fantastic, right? I've got to tell you something. I am more than pleased with what they're doing, and if we can assist them in any way we can. The Council Elections Landing Crew has formed a beachhead in Great Yarmouth. Never seen anything like it. Off the charts. The other parties can't muster more than 20 low energy people. This is an army share, and it is indeed. Everyone has got there because you've got to prove it, right? Jeremy Clarkson is in Great Yarmouth, and there you can see him in his. Was that an Aston Martin? An Aston Martin with Restore Britain on it, right? That's fantastic. Basil the Great, massive scandal unfolding in Parliament. West Midlands police are admitting they are terrified of Muslims in local areas arming themselves. This is why they lied. This is why they covered it up. They are terrified of Muslims. Again, a vote cast, Rupert for PM. And there's a lot of stuff on there. I'm going to show you some other bits in a minute. John Maplin. I was curious if there is a name for when podcasters nag at you, and whether there was a collective noun for nagging podcasters. It turns out there is. Who knew? Real Candice O's Nero. The word is nagcast. A podcast of segment of one characterised by repetitive. All right. Andy the Gabby Cabby, we get the message. Right. Anglo Restoration, I don't know what that means. Cole Benjamin, no idea why you're having this spurgy meltdown, but I do not want people to vote for the Conservatives or the people who have destroyed the country. Nobody should think that I do, and it is because you are on mid-wit that you can't understand what I am saying. So again, don't forget UNN Networks, which is David Close, says nationalism, but he thinks unionism is nationalism. It's not. It's actually the reverse. The English remnant around the year 590, Pope Gregory, I saw fair-haired Anglo-Saxon children being sold in the slave market in Rome. When I asked who they were, he was told they were Angles from England. Gregory replied, non-Angli, said Angli, not Angles, but angels. They refer to them as angels. The moment they stayed. There again, Rupert Lowe, what a team. Everyone's out there. Shame about the Union Jack strides on that, but never mind. And let's have a look. New politics to predict local elections for all council. They're probably not showing you much in there. There is something in particular I need to show you. If I can find it. There's loads of bits going on here. Let's have a look. Wouldn't go anywhere near that United Kingdom thing. Let's have a look. That's that one. Vote, Great Yarmouth, first to investigate these mad cycle names. Let's have a look. I've got to see where this is. And I will, if I can find it, show you something else. Let me go and have a look. Let's stop sharing it for a second. There is something, there was something that I wanted to show you. It's gone missing, as it would. Oh, this is it. So I'm going to bring this up on the screen. I want you all to remember one other thing, right? So I'm going to play this before I show it to you. Watch this. I think it's that one. I'm not sure. Let's see if I can pull that up. Right, so before I show you this and read this out and show you the video, I want you to read what's on the screen, right? Danny Dragon on Rumble, ivermectin, 6 strips, minimum order, no maximum, £15 each strip of 10, right? So it's £15 a strip. Email graham.moore, MOORE, @protonmail.com. Subject ivermectin. So put in the email ivermectin, otherwise I won't find you. Then state how many strips required, full name, address, and postcode. You have the right to self-defense by any means, right? And what I'm actually going to do now is show you something else, right? So go back to that, and I will show you this. And I'm going to try and bring it up. Commentary, global ivermectin, and it says this. A stunning revelation from the front lines of medicine. Dr. William Mackis has reported unprecedented success using ivermectin for 2 of our most devastating neurological conditions, Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. His accidental discovery is yielding results that defy conventional expectations. For Parkinson's, high-dose ivermectin, 60 to 72 milligrams, is facilitating remarkable recoveries. Patients on maximum standard treatments, once barely mobile, are now experiencing dramatic improvements in movement and symptoms. One such patient, after a few weeks of treatment, returned to playing golf, an activity lost for years. The outcome in Alzheimer's are even more profound. Dr. Makis details how family members, following his proposal of low-dose ivermectin, 12 to 24 milligrams, for a few days, are witnessing what can only be described as medical miracles. Loved ones who had not recognised family members for years are suddenly reconnecting. Memories are flooding back. Cognitive abilities are being restored. In one extraordinary case, a patient was taken off hospice after their condition improved so drastically. The stories are heartrending. My grandma's back. Families are reclaiming precious time with loved ones that they felt they had lost forever, all from a few pills of medication with a well-established safety profile. Dr. Mackis challenges the medical establishment, noting that supportive preclinical research on ivermectin and Alzheimer's appears to have been scrubbed from mainstream search engines. Remember what they've done to my accounts over the years, including YouTube, even Twitter, Facebook, etc. Right? The information I give people, that's why it's on Rumble. You can come back and have a look at. Been scrubbed. Battle to repurpose drugs. Right? He urged the public to look at the evidence he shares on his platforms. The potential for safe, accessible, and effective treatment for these neurodegenerative scourges is too significant to ignore. The question remains, when the evidence is this compelling and the reward is the reversal of human suffering, why isn't this being researched at the highest level? Right. So this is, I believe.
Another area that very few people know about is ivermectin has effect on neurological conditions. And the ones that I've had the most success with have been Parkinson's and Alzheimer's disease. And again, it's a very simple thing. I discovered it by accident. There was a mouse model of sort of Parkinsonism. And for Alzheimer's, you can't even find the research because it's been scrubbed from Google. So there's a study that was done, a preclinical study on ivermectin and Alzheimer's, where the researchers concluded that ivermectin has an effect on Alzheimer's and should be studied. It's been scrubbed from Google. If you go on DuckDuckGo, you can actually get the abstract of that study. But in Google, it's completely scrubbed. You just see the titles. It was done in the Middle East, and it's nowhere to be found. You can't get a PDF of the article, nothing. Completely scrubbed. Parkinson's disease, I've used high doses of ivermectin, something like 60 milligrams, 72 milligrams, and these patients are responding. They have improvement in symptoms, improvement in movement. I have a patient who was barely mobile on maximum doses of standard treatment, who after a few weeks of high dose ivermectin started playing golf. And she hadn't been able to play golf for many years. And I've seen reversal in a number of Parkinson's disease patients. Now, Alzheimer's, this is where it gets really fascinating and really blew my mind. As patients sort of started asking me, could I use it for my 90-year-old father or mother and so on. And I said, look, start with a low dose. Let's see what happens, right? Because the older you are, you might have some side effects with ivermectin. There's, if you give too high of a dose to an older person, you might get a little bit of confusion, a little bit of instability on the feet. And so start with 12 milligrams. And these, the family members are trying. And some of these patients are recognizing family members after just a couple of doses. They're recognizing family members they haven't recognized in years. Their memories are coming back. So they start reminiscing. They remember things. Their cognitive ability starts to come back. Literally just 12 milligrams, 24 milligrams of ivermectin for a few days, 4 or 5 days. Just try it. And I tell people, just try, report back to me. And I had one patient who was actually taken off hospice because they were doing so well. It's just incredible. And people tell me, they get this precious time back with their loved ones. And especially with someone who's, been suffering from Alzheimer's for many years, you feel like you've lost your loved one. And then suddenly they're back. They say, my grandma's back. She's got her sense of humor back. Her memories are back. And this is literally with a couple of pills of ivermectin. Safe, zero risk. And the moments that the family gets back are so precious. You can't buy it. It's incredible. And so I always say, give it a shot. Just give it a try. Just a little bit. Patients who are sort of bedridden, not responsive, suddenly the next day they're up and about. They're eating pudding. Like it's just unbelievable stories. And I share all these stories on Twitter. I share them on Substack, and I highly encourage you to have a look at them sometimes. So ivermectin in neurological diseases, specifically Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. Another.
So hopefully everyone saw that. What did you think of that? Right, so you've just seen that. What did you think of that? Sounds like Lorenzo's Oil. Remember the film? I keep getting lulled off, and boy are trying to hide. They're trying to hide ivermectin. They don't want people to know anything about it. Wow, that is remarkable. I can imagine over the National Health Centre NICE withholding it. It makes total common sense. I'm all for fascinating. I feel it in my DNA. If you wish to send Graham personal donation, yep, always welcome. I'm always skint. Ace Jace, amazing. Very interesting. They hate the truth. Yeah, they do. So the other thing is DMSO. I can tell you I have made a little concoction up. Can't really show it. What's on your Psoriasis. Mm-hmm. Did you not want me to say it?
No, it's fine.
psoriasis on Janet's elbow. She was stressed over a few things, and it came back with a vengeance. So we put on it ivermectin
And DMSO.
and DMSO mixed. So we crushed it up, put it in a thing, mixed it up in a little thing, and then rubbed it on it. How long did it take before it went away completely?
Well, last week it was bleeding, wasn't it?
Yeah, and now it's almost healed.
Now it's almost gone.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? Yep. So here you go. And if you're using another concoction, which I will be, I haven't made it up yet, but I am, which is DMSO, high strength, 99.99%, right? Mix it up, crush up ivermectin, and you can put in it the peptides. What's that other stuff called that I've got there?
The oil?
No. Oh, yeah, you got that there as well, haven't you?
Yeah.
Right, we've got some of this. Don't forget, this is all natural. And what was the other one? The collagen.
Collagen.
And the collagen and that, right? Castor oil. Mix it up, and then like I'm going to be putting it on particularly my little finger. And if you don't think I do these things, it also gets rubbed into my back. I don't know what's better, the actual oil or the actual rubbing in, but the point being, though, it does work, right? So for me, screaming in the agony, laying on the floor here, nearly calling an ambulance so many, 2 months ago? Or was it less than that?
Less than that.
Less than that. To work in it and trying to do as much as possible naturally, and also with reference to what Dr. Glidden suggested. So I do all of it basically, and feel 1,000 times better. What's that? Spooky Bubba. DMSO absorbed directly through the skin. Mix it in with lemon juice and touch your fingertips, and you'll taste the lemon. Yeah, and you can taste it as well. Best cure for a body cancer is fasting and no carbs or sugar for an indefinite period of time. Best cure for a body in cancer is fasting. I agree with that as well. Fasting is really good for you. I did do a fast for a couple of days. I was going to do a 21 day. I started it. I was 2 days in with all the intention to do a 21 day fast. On the second day, just going into the third day of the fast, Janet walked in with a fucking kebab. and I've never had that before, right? So it was like this wafting smell. Yes, I know. It was terrible. Cancer is parasites. Grasshopper. Can out the sugary foods and takeaways cooked in seed oils. Cut out, yeah. So grasshopper, you are really right, correct there. Cut out the sugary foods and takeaway cooked in seed oils. Agreed. Seed oils are bad, right? So part of what I'm doing now is going back. I am going to go on a what's known as full carnivore diet. I'm not interested. I'm going to try it. I don't know how it's going to work, but to knock alcohol on the head as much as possible. Because it's sugar, basically. My mate's woofer has a few bumps, so I'm going to get some. Grasshopper, that's a must. Let me have a look. Let me have a look. Beef drippings. Yeah. Always cooking fat if you're going to cook. Fat, like meaning either duck's fat or beef dripping, beef fat, etc. Don't cook using any form of oil. Yay, carnivore is the way to go, DV. Get on it. No, I do. I love it. And what's better, I mean, last night, for example, we went to a local butcher's, which is all natural, grass-fed beef, no injections, no nothing, right? And I had a bit of steak out of there. I could have ate it raw, right? In fact, I have it so rare, I have it blue, that Janet says that thing is mooing still, right? That's how raw it is. Grasshopper, woohoo! use any animal products. Los Lomos, coconut oil and lard for me. I've got coconut oil here somewhere. I used to eat it. Sugar feeds parasites. Yes, it does. Blue fillet steak, lovely. Yeah, no, it is. Pencils given in polling stations. Yeah. That is bad. To arrange a seminar near you, found a venue, and do what we're doing. So don't forget what we've got coming up. Now, I need someone to make up this seminar. I don't know if I've got one or not. I need to make up. I need to show the picture of it. We got our major 2-day convention, right, at Mablethorpe, right, working class area, really lovely sands, a lot going on there. Paddy at the Dunes Complex, fantastic bloke, proper free speech platform. There's people there we're going to be, they've got musicians coming that are like us, believe in what we're talking about as well. I'm going to see if I can find this. One that he's actually given me that information. And I'm going to show you another because I've just seen something else on there. There it is. So I'm hoping you're going to be able to see this. I need to be able to, hang on, save image as, and I'll put this on there. This is Mablethorpe. Mablethorpe. There's other things coming up as well, right? And this is in June 2026, just to make sure I know which one it is. I'll save it in there, save it on there. Let's see if I can bring it up on the screen for you. It's really important we start promoting this because we want as many people to get there. We're going to take some votes. Let me have a look. Mabel, Mablethorpe, June 2026. I'm not even checked this before we stick it in, right? The English Constitutional 2-day and a bit convention. Spend 2 days at the seaside with the English, exploring your inalienable and constitutional rights, what they are, why they matter, and how they state. Let me just make sure that's in there. And it says create background. Right, so what I'm going to do is hopefully put this in there. Touchwood is the right one. I think it is. Let's bring it up on your screen. Oh, it ain't come up. There it is. Took a bit of a time. It might have knocked out my camera by doing it. But there it is on your screen, right? So English Constitutional 2-day and a bit. How the state is working to take them away. Everyone welcome. Friday evening, June the 5th. That's just like having a drink. There's a comedian. To Sunday, June the 7th. We're going to put a bit more information on there. Main speaker, Graham Moore. I am going to try and contact someone else, but I'm not sure if she will come up there or not. But it's all on your screen. What I'm going to do is take that off a second. See if I can share this. And bring you in because I think it's important that people understand this. I'm going to bring it up on the screen. There it is. The Dunes Complex, Mablethorpe. Everyone welcome. Dunes Complex, Central Promenade, Mablethorpe, Mablethorpe, LN12 1RG. You can, not at that complex itself. That's the whole complex is owned by Paddy. Free speech, got a lovely hall. We can set the cameras up. We can set the stage up. We set everyone. They're not going to get banned. Everything's sweet. Everyone can go there. Not like these other places that cancel us. And what we talk about is England, Scotland, Northern Ireland as an independent. So it's an option. I'm not suggesting that everyone wants that. I'm suggesting it should be on the table. Wales, Cornwall, and the Republic of Ireland. I have strong opinions that the Republic of Ireland took such a dangerous turn in their history, and people need to understand it wasn't the English that did that. It was the Irish themselves. And remember that Peter Sutherland is the guy that very, very, very dangerous, but he's now deceased. But he was the person who flooded all them people in. So there it is. It's on your screen. We need as many people to be there as possible, because on the Saturday and the Sunday, and we got music, and we're gonna just, like, you can have food at the event on the Saturday and Sunday morning. The restaurant's going to be open, so you can have breakfast there. Everyone can come there, have a chat. I'm going to be in more of a relaxed situation in the evenings and during the recesses, to chill out, have a chat with people. I can't really be going through people's cases. If you think you can bring a load of paperwork and say, have a read through this, that ain't going to happen, right? Because it's not. When I get involved with a case, it's like all consuming. There's things going on at the moment which I'll be doing and showing people, but I just want everyone to know there are going to be some important votes, so I want as many people as coming. Now, getting back, has anyone got any information out there with reference to, and let me put this on the end there. I'll tell you what, I will put that on there because I think we need it from when I take the thing down, so anyone can look at the end of the video and they'll see. The links are on the English Constitution Society.co.uk's website. I think there is a link also on the English Constitution Party's website, but we need both lots of people to come up there. Don't forget, we'll be taking some votes, and it is important, right? Because we need to get as many people there as possible. 300, 400, 500 people. No aggravation. We're chilling out. It's about the rule of law. We're the good guys, not the bad guys. We're not interested in all these communists, socialists, and the scumbags, right? We're going to a proper working class where a lot of Northerners go, a lot of Southerners go there as well. It is a lovely complex, and people need to go there, right? So all the information will be up there, and it'll be on your screen. Let me just show that one more time so you've got the address. If you want to take a picture of it, you can. We'll probably need a QR code added, which takes you directly to the link to the English Constitution Society.co.uk. And then there's accommodation there. So I'm booked in for 3 nights or 4 nights there. And it's basically the only time ever I get to just chill out and be with everyone that supports the show, and we can have various conversations. There is someone, remind me, there's a lady called Jan that I want to speak to. She lives in Kent, but she also knows about a lot of this natural stuff, and she also knows about the soil. She's been on the show before. Do you remember her talking? Or she might be too nervous to talk at an event like this. But anyway, all that information is in there. Good night, God bless, Slimming. Well done to you, tiddly poo. Tomorrow evening, yes, I'll be back live tomorrow. But anyone got any news at the moment? EFA QR codes, queer DD. Change my picture. Check out Dr. Jason Fung, world leading expert on fasting. Lionheart, I would do a 36 hour to start my own. It's Minx fast. Will increase a week, 96 is enough for most people. Your body don't kick into ketosis until you've done at least 3 days. After 3 days, it goes into ketosis. How do you know? Because your breath starts smelling. And ketosis is when your body starts to burn fat. But the fat that is stored for energy. So and there's lots of other things that it does as well. There's an end of season scooter rally in November every year. Loads from all over the country. Go a good way to spread the word. Let me have a look. Anything else on there? White Dragon 81. Mistress English was wide awake called, but bad system was so laugh out loud. Let me have a look. Merlin is out there, blessings. Who else is going? Anyone going to that event? Oh, Graham has a word. Has a word with what? Jonesy 89. What are you on about? Graham has a word. England are 1, 10p around 10 p.m. round here. So we want to find out how this went as much as possible, so we can talk about it tomorrow. Breeders' scooter rally as well. Ketosis is not nice, but very rewarding. It's taking the body back to a hunter-gatherer state. Yeah, no, it is. I actually enjoy fasting. Sounds odd, but I do. And I only want to tell you, once I've got into the fast, food don't bother me. Bread, and not only that, it's easy to do the washing up. There ain't none. English, being in contention is agony. No, it ain't. It's easy. Round my parts. Grasshopper. Give Dr. Ken Berry and Dr. Sean Baker 2 carnivore pros. YouTube, blah, blah, blah. Graham, who is this David Bisley? I ain't got a clue. Who is this David Bisley? David Bisley. I don't know. Why? What is this name that's just popped up on my chat? I was at Barrow in Furness, but can't make Mablethorpe. Sir Guy Fawkes. 8702. Okay. Philip Flaville, Merlin. 1215 Q high. Grasshopper, ketosis shouldn't be agony. I fucking hate washing up. Use every item before washing up. Yeah, no, that's what I used to do. Fasting or fasting or fasting. Fasting or fasting? I don't know. Fasting. Let me have England 1. Jules Ann. Why not give Graham a follow on X? Yeah, that'd be helpful. Graham, my picture, Jace. Lust, do it as quickly. I don't know what that means. Oh, fasting or farting. All right, sorry. No. Fasting saves toilet paper. Yeah, it does. And then you want to try having some castor oil. That won't do you no favours. He's on YouTube dishing a constitution. Don't know him. I don't get involved with idiots. Right? I don't suffer them. I'm not interested in YouTube. There's plenty of people out there that are trying to destroy England. Grasshopper, laugh out loud. Graham, please don't forget the English and the US Bill of Rights comparison. Jason, I will be doing that. In fact, do you remember what I said to you the other day? I've got that article, but where did I put the article? I partially rewrote an article, but it was only in correlation to one part, but every part is almost an exact mirror copy. I'm due to 7-day fast with lion's mane and mushrooms. The count is tomorrow in Walsall. Can you explain Evel, please? Saxon. Oh, isn't it funny? Saxon Cocktail. Who is Saxon Cocktail? I've heard that name somewhere else. Have I heard that? Is there a group called Saxon Cocktail on Twitter? Isn't it funny that you've mentioned Evel, right? English votes on English laws, right? Basically, the situation was, and this comes in with the West Lothian question as well, that I'm only briefly going to, but I do want to do a whole show on it, right? So people, because you lot will be absolutely spitting feathers if you knew what these people have done to England, right? So when they create laws, the English, the Scots, and the Northern Irish can vote on English laws and basically advocate tyranny in England against the will of the English, because there are no English MPs. The rest of them are British, right? And but when they make laws for Scotland, Northern Ireland, we are not allowed to vote on their laws, right? So it's a complete annihilation of the English. Now, the person they was going to allow, Evel, and it was David Cameron that brought it in, right? And it was a bloke called Gove, Gove, and Boris Johnson that completely took it off the table because they believed that it was a threat to the Union. because they believed that if the English made their own laws without any reference to Scotland or Northern Ireland or Wales, we would create laws and a system for the English and start moving ahead economically and every other way, right? So they actually removed it from the English, and it was Gove and Boris Johnson, and someone else was involved with it as well. And the reason they did it, literally, was to stop us moving forward. Right, anyway, I'm off because it is coming up to 10 to 10, and it means I've been live for nearly 2 hours. Nicholas Gotham, yeah. So don't forget, if anyone Goff fucking arsehole, yeah, he is. Gov is not a very good person. I can't remember where I put that article. There was a whole article because I've been doing the bin because I want to work out and show you how we are being systematically destroyed as a country. And to do that, you have to start showing people where it all come from. That's it, really. I'm off. Good night. God bless. Don't forget what I believe in. The Constitution is the solution. Did anyone notice people with immigration status could vote when you went to the polling station today? Yeah. That's it. Hopefully everyone is fine. Don't forget, if you want some ivermectin, I've already shown it on the screen, so it's during there. If you want it, you have to come back. What do I do now? Do I put up? Let me see if I can show both of these. I'll see if I can do it. Right, so I'll pull that one up. Don't forget you got that one, right? And then the other one. So that's on there again, and the other one is that one. So I will leave that on your screen and shut off the mic. Good night. God bless.